What's up YouTube, it's Pablo. Today I'm going to do a short intro on the field of electron microscopy. So got my glasses ready for this nerd off, And I'm a student of the San Joaquin Delta College Electron Microscopy class. That's electron microscopy. It's a difficult word. A lot of people, like, when I first tell them like what it is, their first thing is to attempt to pronounce the title itself, electron microscopist, and it's really a tongue twister, man. And I can understand it because when I first heard it, it was really difficult to pronounce it. But I think the first thing about being an electron microscopist is that you got to learn how to pronounce electron microscopy. So I wanted to do a quick little intro on the field of electron microscopy, because I know a lot of people out there have some questions about it, and I kind of just want to go through it a little bit and explain what it is. So when you watch my vlogs and you see my day and I'm like, hey, I went to electron microscopy and I did this, you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly what he's talking about. So let me start with what electron microscopy is. Now, electron microscopy, what they do is they view samples on a really powerful microscope, and it's an electron microscope, and it's huge. Okay, it's huge. It's like a cockpit. It's huge, and it's got this big column. There's actually two types of electron microscopes. There's the TEM, which stands for transmission electron microscope, and that one kind of sees through samples. Okay, you prepare thin samples, and this beam comes down, which is made up of electrons, and it hits the sample, and you're able to magnify it like 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 times. Like, you can really zoom in there and see what's in there. It's really cool. And this semester I want to show you guys some pictures of the stuff that I have. And the second kind of electron microscope that I've used is the SEM, which is a scanning electron microscope. And the scanning electron microscope looks more at the surface of samples, so like the valleys and the peaks, of a sample, the surface of anything, pretty much. And so that's one part of electron microscopy, which is the observation of it. You gotta put the sample in the microscope, you gotta give it the right energy, the right amount of power to it. You don't want to disintegrate your sample. The second part of electron microscopy is the preparation of samples. We go into a lab, and by using chemicals, we prepare these samples to put them into the microscopes. Like the TEM, the transmission electron microscope, the samples that need to go there are like thin. They're super thin, and you put it on a little tiny grid. So I don't know if you can see that on my finger right there. I don't know if you can see it. That's a grid, okay? And that grid gets zoomed in to one of the little squares in that grid. Like, super, it looks huge. I mean, when you zoom it in, it looks huge. They have to be cleaned also as well. That grid is dirty, okay? So this is another sample. So this is a stub, and the stubs go in the SEM, the microscope that sees the surface of stuff, goes in the SEM, and you put the little stub in there, and then up on top and all that stuff is where the laser and all this stuff is. And here, let me just show you. So I used my daughter's teeth. That was like one of the first things I put in the SEM. I put my daughter's teeth in there. Came out really cool. I'll show you some of the pictures. Let me show you another sample. Okay. Let me see. So every semester, we gotta take a safety test, because you you need to be careful with the chemicals and stuff like that, and you don't want to kill anybody or yourself, and you got to be careful. But these are the stubs. That's how the stubs look. The one I just showed you with the teeth, that's how they look like. One of the grids, and you can look under a light microscope, and a light microscope is like what you guys are used to seeing, and you can kind of see if you got your samples ready and stuff like that there. But yeah, that's how you prepare it, and then you load it up into one of the microscopes. Let me see if I can find that. This is for like steel replica, because you know you can't put a big old metal chunk in there, but you make a replica of the steel itself, and then you cut a little strip off of it, and then you put it on one of those grids, and then those grids are stored in this. Electron microscopy is like really good career. I mean, if you like following steps, if you like laid back, air conditioned labs where you can play around with stuff. I love this career. I love this field. Electron microscopy is really interesting, and it expands everywhere and to all kinds of companies and corporations and stuff like that. Electron microscopy is used for the medical field, for cell phones, for cars, for computer chips, for bridges, for everything. A lot of people ask me that. They're like, well, what do you guys do? What do you guys look at? We look at everything pretty much. You know, my preference is I'm going into materials, which is computer chips and, you know, metal, stuff like that. There's the biological side, which is more like viruses and bacteria and like stuff like that. You can, you know, where you work in a hospital or a private sector, private company, you know. So this is a short little intro that I wanted to give everybody, because this semester I plan on vlogging a lot, and I want to share this with people. I want people to be introduced to electron microscopy and learn about it, and maybe, you know, be interested in doing that. You know, I don't think a lot of people know about this field. So hopefully you guys like this. If I got anything wrong or missed anything, just comment in the bottom. I'll continue doing these, and hopefully you guys like the electron microscopy field. Okay, peace.